everybody? Artistry and Finesse joining you on a Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful day outside here in Pittsburgh, and the Penguins won in overtime, but I don't feel that way in my heart, Finesse.
No, it feels really like kind of fool's gold almost. I mean, what are we getting ourselves deeper into here by having won this game? That's what I worry about, because this was overall a discouraging performance on pretty much every single level, other than getting the win at the end. And the power play, I guess, because the power play scored 3 goals. But I don't know how you walk away from this feeling like we're the heavy favorites anymore at all.
I don't think I've ever felt this way after winning a hockey game. It escapes me. I can't think of anything that compares. And I think I felt better after we clobbered the Flyers in Game 4 last spring, 10-3, even though you knew we were going to lose the series. I still felt better than I do today.
Yeah, it just seems to me, and I don't know, I guess, should we start with the positive or the negative? Because I guess we'll just go with the negative. Like, my biggest takeaway from this game is that there are so many people on the Penguins who are playing significantly worse in the playoffs for the second straight year than they did during the regular season. I don't know if it's that other teams are playing better. Like, we have to at some point give the Islanders credit for playing very well, because they're giving us a lot of problems in a lot of different areas. But I don't know. To me, it seems like it has to be a mental issue. We have a lot of soft players on this team right now. I mean, Niskanen and Mark Eaton were beyond pathetic in this game. Mark Eaton played the single worst game I've ever seen him play in his career. And it makes you wonder, or at least understand, why he was so excited that the Penguins gave him a 10-day tryout with Wilkes-Barre 3 months ago. It was disgusting on so many levels.
He was so bad. So bad. I mean, the defense right now is playing scared. They're clearly off put by the Islanders' speed. And, I hate being right about this, but I knew the Islanders were the worst matchup out of those 4 teams for us. They're just scary offensively now that they have a little confidence. We've been saying all year, and again, I don't think we're happy to be right about this, that our defense isn't good enough.
Especially, well, and it just has to be better, I guess. I mean,
they're just not good enough. I mean, Paul Martin was bad. Chris Letang was terrible today. His goal aside, Martin made a nice play on the winning goal in OT, but just in our own zone, we're so soft. We're not clearing pucks, and once we do, we're not getting them in deep.
The inability to clear the puck out of our own zone made me, and I was watching with my brother, we were ready to fight the television set. It was so maddeningly frustrating to watch that happening.
Just soft chips.
Waving with one hand at the puck. Look at my hand. I'm just waving my hand with one hand. Imagine if Mark Eaton was a fencer. That's what he was doing with his stick, just waving it around in the zone. And I don't know if he's afraid to get hit. I don't know what it is, because the Islanders aren't really big hitters on the forecheck. They're just soft. They're just playing soft. I don't know what else to say about it.
Did any defenseman play well? I mean, I don't think any defenseman played well.
No, although I actually don't think Douglas Murray was that bad. I know there was one shift when he looked bad, but it was because they got caught on the ice for way too long. But he made a couple nice plays. I thought he was the only one who at least played as you expect him to play. Everybody else was a net negative in my view.
Yeah, maybe you give Doug Murray a B for scoring the goal. He had maybe couple nice passes, but he had a lot of bad plays out there.
It's amazing to me that with all this depth that's going on that we have, we're still a top-heavy team. I mean, Are we any less dependent on Crosby and Malkin now than we were before we made these trades?
Well, what you've seen in the last 2 games is diametrically opposed to what we saw in Game 1, when, if you'll remember, we were talking about, excuse me.
Come on, you can't do that. This is live radio.
I know, that was unprofessional. We were talking after Game 1 about how the complementary pieces were better than we'd ever seen on any Pens team. And that just shifted completely the last 2 games.
I know. Go ahead.
I think a big part of it is, and I don't need fancy statistics to tell me this, we don't have the puck the whole game. Brendan Morrow and Matt Cook and Brandon Sutter, that line has no possession time. The Islanders had the puck for the last 2.5 periods of that hockey game.
That line, I do not like Morrow playing with Sutter because Sutter is invisible, like absolutely invisible.
Yeah, the Islanders' speed is showing up at times far too often with the older guys like Morrow and Iginla. You see them struggle at times with the Islanders'
unless we get it in the offensive zone. And this is why it's so key for the defense to be strong on the puck and get the puck out of the zone. You're not going to get help from your wingers in our own zone. Morrow's not good in our own zone. Like, you have to, the defense has to do a lot more to get the puck up the ice down deep. All right? Yeah. Like, that's what needs to happen. Otherwise, they're going to be exposed. And then on that Murray shift that was terrible when Morrow was on the ice, it's because they just didn't do a good job getting it out of the zone. Like, that's priority number one to me. We're so weak on our own blue line. Forget turnovers on the offensive blue line. It's the own zone blue line.
Yeah, they're totally on their heels. So is this to you mostly a mental thing, given that we've played very good hockey for long stretches? Is it a matchup issue? We've struggled historically with teams like the Islanders. At times when we play the Maple Leafs, a team with a lot of speed, we get caught on our heels at times. Is it a coaching issue? What is it?
Well, if it's a mental issue, then coaching has to play a part in it. And I think it has to be a mental issue, number one, because you can say all the stuff you want about how the Penguins weren't as good as we all thought they were, blah, blah, blah. But they still had the best record in the Eastern Conference by a lot and had so much that they could coast on the stretch. So something is good about these players. The fact that they're so much worse when they get to the playoffs, it has to be something going on upstairs. And so the case for optimism here is that last year's early exit is still weighing on the Pens' minds. And you have to wonder, if we can just get out of the first round, does some of this go away? Or does it get worse? My sense of optimism would be if we can just beat the Islanders, if we just get a few bounces, if we just get that overtime power play and can just get out of this first series, maybe we see the team that had the 15-game winning streak.
Yeah, I think what's clear is nothing would surprise us. It wouldn't be surprising in the least if we got bounced this series. It wouldn't be surprising if we got past the Islanders and got on a roll all the way to the cup.
What would be surprising to me is if we won a normal playoff game 3-1, where we were up
without giving us heart attacks.
We're up 2-1 and got an empty net goal at the end of the game.
So another positive, Sid seems like he's going to get stronger every game. Obviously, without Sid, we had no hope of competing in this hockey game.
No. This was an MVP performance from him on so many levels. He's obviously, glaringly, the best player on the ice for us every time he's on the ice.
Yeah, and he's underweight. He's not able to go full throttle physically probably, and still he just has a way to elevate when everybody else seems to be melting down.
Right, he's still dominating along the boards. Absolutely dominating.
And all kudos go to Hans Kunitz, who was incredibly clutch today.
Yeah, he's a big goal scorer. And that's all these new additions, and it's still relying on the same group of guys to get it done. Kunitz was amazing. He on the power play, nobody is really better than him. We want Morrow to stand in front of the net. Kunitz is better at it. Kunitz is better sniper than everybody. He's just a great player. I love Kunitz.
Let me ask you this question. I texted you this during the game. When we get healthy, I'm still very unhappy with Iginla on Malkin's line. I just don't think it works. Malkin's trying to force pucks to him. They're just not clicking on any level, it appears. I feel like when James Neal comes back, it would take away from the chemistry between Malkin and Neal to have Iginla on that line. We don't have a checking line. This Sutter-Cook-Morrow line does not tilt the ice, as we've talked about excessively.
It's a liability.
I think you got to put out your best four lines, and I think that's currently Crosby, Kunitz, Dupuis, Malkin, Neal, Morrow, and then you go Iginla, Jokinen, Bennett.
Nah, see, I still think you got to get Iginla out there with Sid or Malkin. Otherwise, what are you going to get out of them?
So What did I say? I said Jokinen and Bennett. I mean, those are decent line mates for a Ginla, no?
No, he needs to be out there. I'd rather go Malkin,
break
Neal,
up
and
Sted line?
Kunitz. I'd rather go Malkin, Neal, and Kunitz. Kunitz is going to be good no matter who he's with. He was good with Malkin last year. He can get a lot out of whoever he plays with. He gets the most out of Crosby. He gets the most out of Malkin.
Yeah,
so I don't know that it matters.
I wouldn't object to that. I just think you need to break up a Ginla Malkin.
But Sutter does not deserve any benefit of the doubt over any other player on the team for ice time. He had 15-40 tonight. Jokinen had 12-13, and I didn't think Jokinen was particularly good either. But Sutter's not good. He's so average or below average. It's it's almost to the point of that line being a liability every time they're on the ice.
We also would be remiss if we didn't give the Islanders some credit. I mean, some of those guys are just playing out of their minds. Oposo, what a game by him.
Yeah, and I thought 47, Andrew McDonald was very strong tonight as well.
Very solid player.
He was a +3 also. Played 30 minutes tonight. They're impressive. They got a good team. Tavares is scary. Nielsen's a fast, quick guy all over the ice. I mean, it's just that we had a little more finish. We took advantage of the power plays we got. They didn't take advantage of theirs. That's the difference in the game. Otherwise, they completely outplayed us. And this is an example of where, if you just focus on even strength play, it's misleading because you get power plays, and the Pens buried it on the power play.
Is there any way at all to know what's going to happen on Tuesday? Is Tuesday Game 4?
Yeah, Tuesday. No idea. Nothing, like you said, nothing would surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost 8-1. What do you think about? Yeah. Well, let's. We just got our boy Eric, who we should give him a shout out because he did such a nice job on the podcast. He's complaining about the call in overtime, and I know Milbury and Roenick were harping on it in the post game show. I don't know if you got to see it, but
kill the penalty. Right. Kill the penalty. There are bad calls in hockey games. Kill the penalty.
Welcome to the playoffs. Kill the penalty. You know.
Yeah. This is big boy time right now.
Right. Or how about this? How about if you're Brian? How about don't give Brian Straight so many minutes? Or looking at it the other way, how about Brian Straight not let Crosby beat him off the boards? Look at Brian.
How about you don't sign Brian Straight off waivers? How about you trade for a legitimate top pairing defenseman?
Right. Crosby. Here's what Crosby did. He put Brian Straight on his back, and he said, I am going to carry my team and Brian Straight to a Penguins victory in this game.
Yeah, no sympathy there, Eric. Sorry, buddy.
And he skated with 26 guys on his back right to the net and right to victory.
Right. All right, let's put this behind us. I don't feel good about it. I feel nauseous. When does that happen when you win a playoff game in overtime?
I know that
so many emotions.
I know that people listening to this are going to be like, you guys are so negative about a win. And it's like, I sat there except for the end of the first period, I sat there completely depressed the whole game. This is last year all over again. This team sucks. And I
don't tell me to be positive after somebody punched me in the stomach for 3 hours straight. That's what you're doing right now.
Does Bilesma have a plan B? Or because it doesn't seem like when we don't look like we do when we're playing well, we don't seem to have another option, anything different. It's one system. It's get to our game, and that's it. What happens when that's not working? We just hope to get power plays.
It didn't work at all. Did you hear Kunitz after the game?
No, what he said?
We really haven't gotten to our game since the first 20 minutes of the series.
It's true.
It's time to get to it. Here's a question for you, and then let's wrap this up. I want to move on. I just want to take a shower, rinse it off me. Dupre really struggled in the first period. Englund was horrible last game. It seems like two bad choices there, but did Dupre do enough in the latter part of this game to make you think he sticks, or do you sit him back down?
I don't know if he's the first guy to sit, I guess, if Orpik comes back, but why does Eaton deserve to play? And why
doesn't? He doesn't.
Why is Englund the option over Bortuzzo?
I don't know.
Does Bobby B get consumed by the moment the way these other guys are? I don't think Bobby B gets consumed by the moment.
Were we absolutely correct when we said this is the year of Bob?
Well, time will tell. Time will tell. Eric, by the way, is still mad about the call. He says Pens barely get in under the salary cap. Not sure how that's relevant. Islanders barely get to the cap floor because of DiPietro, Yashin. Crosby deserves Oscar for that fall. See, this is inexperience. This is fan
he just hasn't been through this before.
Right. He'll learn from this. All the Islanders fans will learn from this. Sometimes you don't have good enough players who can't avoid taking penalties against players who are better than them, and that's what happens.
Right. It's like what happens when my son, trips and skins his knee and cries. You say it's okay, buddy, you're going to be all right. And then after a while, you say shake it off.
Right.
Just shake it off.
It's like if your son is running through the house, trips over a step, and blames the step.
Right.
Keep your head up.
He does.
Yeah.
He will punch the wall. If he runs into a corner of the wall, he will punch it.
Right.
And he's got to learn. You got to learn to navigate the world. Yeah. And the Islanders have got to learn to navigate bad calls.
Yeah, they do. But look, they're not out of the series. They're scaring me significantly more than I thought I would be. They played a very, very good game today. They deserve to win this game. I don't know that the call invalidates the Penguins' victory. Instead, I think it means that the Penguins have a really good power play, and you better be careful not to take penalties.
That's right. If you're not terrified right now, you're not awake.
Right.
You're just not paying attention. All right. We'll be back Tuesday night with another live podcast post-game. Hopefully we can regroup and get our act together. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Until next time, GTOG.